Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us this evening to talk about resources for small contractors, hosted by the Urban Redevelopment Authority, the URA and Riverside Center for Innovation. We appreciate you coming out and spending your evening with us tonight. Just to do a quick round of introductions, my name is Pierce Robinson. I'm the manager of Diverse Business Solutions. Our other speakers include Esther Clay, who's the Avenues of Hope project manager, Sienna Kane, who's our lending analyst, who will be discussing our line of credit, Lynette Morris, who's our program assistant and our primary person of contact, and Juan and Doug from Riverside Center for Innovation. And we also have additional URA staff to answer any additional questions that may come up about our line of credit, Avenues of Hope, RFP process, or any of the other tools that the URA offers. So just to give everyone some background about the URA, we are the Urban Redevelopment Authority. We are the economic development arm of the City of Pittsburgh's government. Our mission and vision is that we exist to support the City of Pittsburgh's economic development goals, which are designed to create a city of inclusive opportunity for residents, stakeholders, and communities. So some of our priorities, I know that a lot of people, when they think about or hear about the URA, they think about development and construction and different things like that. But there's a lot of things that we do. Some of those things include, creating more affordable housing in the city for, all Pittsburghers. So, they can all become homeowners. We encourage entrepreneurship and small business development, which is the things that we'll be talking about tonight with our programs. We promote inclusive growth and quality job creation. We expand neighborhood and main streets revitalization efforts, which is the driving force behind our Avenues of Hope initiative. We're also working on developing a talented workforce that are equipped with the skills that will be able to deliver for the jobs of the future. So I'll turn it over now to Esther to talk about Avenues of Hope.
Thank you, Pierce. Avenues of Hope is a holistic model for rebuilding Pittsburgh's Black main streets. It's a people-based, people-first approach. We'll focus on 7 major business corridors, which you'll see in the upcoming presentation. And our goal is to invest in small businesses, residents, and supporting inclusive growth within those neighborhoods. Next slide. Avenues of Hope, as I mentioned, is a place-based, people-first approach. Avenues of Hope will be Black-owned, will center on Black arts and culture, mixed-use, transit-oriented, and pedestrian and bike-friendly, of course. Healthy communities supported by education, healthcare, and of course, human supportive services will be a large part of that support as well. Next step. Here's an overview. It's a screen grab actually from our website. If you go to the URA website and select Avenues of Hope, we have a landing page and then individual links to each corridor. So if you want to see information on a specific corridor, you can just click on the link and our interactive map will emerge, and I'll actually show you all the current URA investments in that corridor. Now, some of these investments predate Avenues of Hope, but in general, it has every investment that the URA has so far in each corridor. And it's updated quarterly, so we should have it up to date to Q3 of this year. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me or Lynette Morris if you want to learn more. But just a quick overview, you can see all 7 corridors. That's Perrysville Avenue, Chartiers Avenue, Center Avenue, Larmer, Homewood, Warrington, and 2nd Avenue. And if you notice under each of the avenues, there's a designation of the neighborhoods that they're in. So for example, Perrysville Avenue in Perrysville includes Perrysville North and South. Chartiers Avenue actually includes the entire 3-mile corridor, which is Sheridan, Elliott, and Wingate. So in this presentation, we'll be referring to each of the avenues as well as the neighborhoods within those avenues. Next slide. In addition to the program itself, we've worked on eliminating barriers. We understand that finance and access to capital aren't the only tools necessary to ensure equal access. So we've created strategic partnerships with neighborhood allies and other community-focused organizations like Riverside Center for Innovation. We also hold building capacity workshops that basically increase the knowledge base for potential respondents. So similar to this, where we have webinars teaching you about financing tools, we have webinars about almost anything and everything related to the URA. So we're building that portfolio out, and you'll see once this webinar is done, it'll actually be on our website under our resource library. We also provide technical assistance. We also recently provided the First Source Center. It's a one-stop shop for employment and job readiness, which is actually located in the Hill District. And our goal is to expand those First Source Centers to not only provide employment opportunities, but to ensure that we have the workforce of tomorrow. We've also hired a full-time workforce development staff person, and they've been working diligently to ensure that we build that workforce development ecosystem. And of course, this is a big one, switching from RFQs to RFPs. We found that it's really difficult to, as a first-time respondent, to respond to RFQ. So we've switched over to a more inclusive, less comprehensive process so that folks can get a foot in the door, and then also learn how to, learn the ropes to responding to RFQs versus RFPs. And through that, we've been able to reach a lot of MWB and first-time respondents. Next slide.
Thanks, Austere. And hi, everyone. My name is Sienna, and I'll be talking about the Small Contractor Line of Credit, which is a program available within Avenues of Hope. The Small Contractor Line of Credit supports construction companies that require access to capital for residential or commercial projects in Avenues of Hope. The line of credit can be renewed annually. And just to note that once a project is completed within an Avenues of Hope neighborhood, the line of credit can be used in other neighborhoods throughout the city of Pittsburgh. And then again, just as a reminder, the 7 Avenues of Hope are here in Perry, North and South, Perrysville Avenue, Chartiers Avenue, Center Avenue in the Hill District, Larmer Avenue, Homewood, Warrington Avenue in Allentown and Beltshoover, and 2nd Avenue in Hazelwood. The small contractor line of credit can support 90% of a submitted and approved project invoice between $25,000 and $100,000. Applicants must have a proven track record of project completion, which would include references and information about 3 jobs that have been completed, and have an annual revenue between $50,000 and $2 million. Applicants must be registered. Their business must be registered in the city of Pittsburgh, and they must be in good standing with their taxes. Appropriate permits and regular inspections are required for this line of credit, and priority will be given to minority and women-owned businesses or businesses whose owners are economically disadvantaged. So borrowers are approved for the line of credit based on past performance and having the contract in an Avenue of Hope neighborhood. As the draw schedule begins with the project, those payments will be applied to the URA loan to repay the loan. The line of credit amount is based on the contract amount, which is part of the application process. And the URA will pay off accrued interest and pro rata portion of the outstanding principal, and the remaining of the funds will go to the borrower. When the contract is paid in full, the line of credit is paid in full. Once the contract is complete for the Avenue of Hope neighborhood, the borrower can apply to renew the line of credit with URA for a contract for another Avenue of Hope project or a project that's located in another neighborhood within the city of Pittsburgh. The line of credit will be reviewed annually and can be renewed annually as well. The interest rate can adjust annually, and borrowers will be notified in advance while they're working with their lending analyst. And if the line of credit is not renewed and there's an outstanding principal due, the line of credit will revert to a loan term with a monthly repayment schedule. And just to put the tool in some context, this is a recent borrower, Concrete Rose, who used the small contractor line of credit. Tina Daniels is the owner of Concrete Rose. It is an MWBE business, and they asked for a $100,000 line of credit, which aligned with a $300,000 signed contract within an Avenue of Hope. The line of credit will be used to assist with working capital related to the construction of the project on Larmer Avenue, which is the designated Avenue of Hope corridor. The distributions will be made at set interviews throughout the length of the line of credit and upon evidence of proper permits and inspections in accordance with the scope of work and the draw schedule, which Tina has worked out with her lending analyst. Concrete Roast has a history of continued growth while managing expenses and maintaining an annual revenue between 50,000 and 2 million and 2 million. So if you'd like to get started on our contractor and applying for our line of credit and you're a contractor, you can check out our website or connect with Lynette Morris, who is our point of contact, and she can give you some information about the program and connect you with a lending analyst. If you wanted to start gathering your financial documentation and references for the project, keep in mind we ask for up to three references, and that we are looking for a contract that was within an Avenues of Hope neighborhood. So you can begin to do some of that due diligence before you apply. And our application is available online as well.
Thanks, Sienna. Just some really quick housekeeping. Please keep yourself on mute while the presenters are speaking. We will answer questions in the chat, and we will answer them in order that they were received. So we want to give another special thanks to our partners over at Riverside Innovation, Juan and Doug and his team. I just want to give a quick overview before they jump into their presentation. So for those who aren't familiar, RCI, Riverside Center for Innovation, helps pre-venture, startup, and existing businesses acquire tools in order for them to, move forward and progress. They have a really, really cool BizFit program that's excellent. They're located on the north side. Like I said, Juan Garrett, he's the executive director. His information is here. So, if you want to learn more about Riverside Center for Innovation, please reach out to Juan, check out the website, and just definitely connect. They're really, really great organization. So from here we will move on to Doug.
Thanks, Juan. I'm here. Well, I'm a consultant to the Northside Industrial Development Company, also known as the Riverside Center for Innovation, and I'm going to talk about one particular issue that you might run into in renovating old buildings. And by old, I mean anything really built before the 1980s could have asbestos in everything from the ceiling tile to the plaster to the caulking around windows to the mastic used to glue floor tile. And our program through the US EPA can test for that asbestos at no cost to you as part of a project. So it'll do 100% of the cost to do the test.
Hold on.
Hello? Oh, I don't know, I got some background noise there. So it pays for 100% of the cost to do any asbestos or lead-based paint testing on any of the properties that you'd be looking at as part of a redevelopment. So in addition, if you run into properties such as former laundromats or gas stations, this program can also pay for what's called phase 1 and phase 2 environmental assessments of the soil and of the groundwater. So just think environmental. If you run into any environmental issues on any of your renovation projects through this program funded by the US EPA to the Northside Industrial Development Company, we have funding, 100% funding to do the testing to make sure, and that'll ensure whether you have an issue with asbestos, lead-based paint, or some other environmental issue on a property. As an aside, we also have some funding under the same program. This is really more for the URA's, perusal, but we have funding that can pay for reuse planning in some of these districts. Everything from market studies to rendering, site plans, infrastructure analysis. The funding for that part of our program is running a little low, but we do have some available funding for potentially one of the Avenues of Hope districts. So that's my presentation. Just think environmental. If you have an environmental issue, we do have funding to do the testing to make sure either way, whether you might have an environmental issue on one of your properties.
Thank you, Doug. Appreciate it. So now we are going to open the floor up to questions. I know Catherine was in the chat answering questions as they were coming in. So I definitely want to see where we are at in terms of the questions that aren't answered. Catherine, can you give me some assistance with that, please?
Absolutely, yeah. And I think we can just highlight the first question we got is, you know, we will send around the slides first of all, but also does it have to be on the Avenue of Hope corridor itself, or can a project be, you know, Avenue of Hope adjacent? Can it be in the neighborhood or a street away? So I'll kick that over to Sienna or Rochelle to answer.
Oh, yeah. Right. Sorry, I'm sharing my screen. I'm unmuted, correct?
Yeah, you
Yes,
are.
we can hear you.
Yeah. Within an Avenue of Hope. So yeah, if a contractor, let's say, has a residential property within the neighborhood where the Avenue of Hope is, so let's say it's North Homewood Avenue and within the neighborhood of Homewood, that would be within an Avenue of Hope. So yes, it's, you know, around that main street.
Thank you.
Great. And then there was a question about if the EPA assessment grant was only available within the city. And I saw Juan jumped in there. You can use
yes.
the funds.
Yes, we could use the EPA funds could be used throughout Allegheny County, within Allegheny County.
Thank you.
I have a question.
Okay.
I'm sorry I had to be unmuted because I'm blind. This is Pastor Love. How are you guys doing? Everybody
Good,
doing? All right. The question is similar to the first question about location. If the property that you're or development that you're doing is on the, like in Hazelwood, 2nd Avenue, and the other portion of the property is on Johnson Avenue, let's say, but it takes up 3 blocks, 2nd Avenue, Johnson, and like Gertrude. This is a real project I'm talking about. They would be considered part of the Avenue of Hope.
Yeah,
Yes.
I'm going to step in and answer this question. Actually, hello, good evening. So yes, it's the neighborhood is what we're looking at. So if it's in an Avenue of Hope neighborhood, that's where the focus is. So as long as it is considered within the boundaries, then it would be eligible.
Okay, one more question. In the criteria for these projects, we had a meeting with URA, and I thank you for anybody's on here that came, you know, and met with the Hazelwood people. The criteria for funding from the Avenue, is there a certain criteria that must be met first?
I can answer this. It depends on, and hi, Pastor Love. It's nice to see you or hear you again. This is Oscar. We met about a week and a half ago.
How you doing?
I'm well, thank you. Thank you for asking. I just wanted to clarify that there are multiple programs. So depending on the program, the criteria or eligibility is different. Now, the area, meaning if whatever avenue you're in the neighborhood, this determines if you're eligible to apply. But whether your application, if you have everything for the application to be approved, depends on what you're applying to. So what we talked about in terms of lending for some of the lending products for real estate or entrepreneurs, that criteria may be different than the criteria for this particular line of credit product, which is specifically for contractors. But we encourage you, if you have a question about a specific tool, a loan officer can talk to you and figure out, one, what the best tools are for your project and what you'll need to apply. And through that conversation, we'll be able to determine the best tools for your project, the best fit. And also, if you meet the criteria for that tool that you're requesting, whether it's a loan or in this particular instance, the contractor line of credit, which would be for a contractor. Now, if you already have a contractor, say you have a project and there's a contractor that you really want to use, highly encourage them to reach out to the URA so that they can have access to this product, so that you have the contractor that you trust, and hopefully that they meet all the criteria and that they could, have access to this tool and work on the project collaboratively with you. And that's the goal, is that we have tools for every step of the way, from the project completion to the technical assistance, and then also the contractor that you got to work with to get the project done. So let me know if that answered your question. That was a lot. That was a lot at once.
Yeah. Just just one follow-up, and thank you very much. What number do we call to get the technical assistant to start off these efforts? Is there one number to call, or?
So in your instance, we've contacted, it depends on the product. So if this is in reference to technical assistance for the application itself, that would be through, Sienna, if I'm correct, your loan officer would work with you to get that TA assistance?
Yeah, so what we're saying this evening, and just for consistency, is to email or call Lynette Morris, and I will get her number for you, and I will put it in the chat, and I'll also let you know. But Lynette Morris she works in our business solutions department, and she does all of our intakes. So whether you have questions about the contractor line of credit or any other programs within, commercial lending or technical assistance, Lynette can lead you to the correct person to help you with your loan or getting linked up to technical assistance. So Lynette, are you on the line to share your phone number? I don't know it off the top of my head.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yeah.
Lynette Norris.
Lynette, you're muted, I think.
Well, I can't, yeah.
I think there was another question from Mr. Woody asking, is this program here to help a small landscaping company?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think that for a landscaping contract within an Avenue of Hope, Jennifer, could that be something that we've funded through the contractor line of credit? If not, we have, okay.
The intent of the program is for physical developments, physical construction or rehab. That is currently the intent, is for the real estate structure. So, we haven't come across the idea of the landscaping. It's not the original intent of the program. But if you want to reach out to us, we can understand more of the specifics.
And also, we do have other programs that if this is not the tool that works for your project, we have others. So definitely please reach out and we'll, continue the conversation.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say, Sienna and Jennifer. Thank you for that. I was going to say, we encourage you to reach out, because for a small landscaping company, a microloan might be more appropriate for something like that. So thank you for that. Are there any other, I don't see any other questions in the chat. Are there any other live questions? Is there anything that anyone wants to know?
There's another question about, does this program help nonprofits?
I missed that. Okay.
So a nonprofit who is doing construction in the neighborhood, or in an eligible neighborhood, yes, I think that we would look at nonprofits if they are doing contracting work.
Great. And the next question is, what if you don't have the minimum 50K income, but have projections for projects that result to more than that?
So we would look at that. We would definitely look at that. The idea of the 50K annual revenue is just to show that you've been operating. So, because you do need to be able to provide project details where you've completed at least 3 projects. We are not prepared to work with people who are brand new to contracting. We'd like to see that you've at least completed 3 jobs. And that is where that threshold comes in. If you fall under the $50,000 revenue, but you have completed at least 3 jobs that you can, provide addresses on, details on, then we can speak with you about it.
And I just want to call out Lynette's number for Reverend Love.
Yes.
It's 412-255-6547.
6547. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Anyone have any other questions relating to the small contractor line of credit or the EPA grant dollars from Riverside Center for Innovation?
I have a question for the Riverside, if no one else is asking. You said you still have a small amount of money left for doing some maybe architectural or engineering funding, or is that part of your funding for new projects?
Yeah, I could take that. It really isn't for architectural work on buildings. It is for, a plan for a district. So it could look at possibly like a market study. It could look at, kind of infrastructure analysis, what improvements are needed. It could look at possible renderings of individual buildings, but only from a, sort of a conceptual scale. It can't get into engineering or design work on a particular building. So I hope that's helpful in terms of thinking about it.
Do you help determine the feasibility of a project? Like if a group was trying to get a grocery store in their community and we were trying to determine the feasibility of a site, do you help fund hiring someone to help come in and determine that feasibility?
Possibly. I mean, that would be more like a sort of a market study to see what the market would be for reuse of a site for a grocery store. So yeah, possibly we could, have some funding available to that. There probably have to be some matching money, but that is possibly something that we could look at through this program. Yeah.
And what's your number, please?
My phone number is 412-741-0935.
0935. Thank you.
Sure.
Okay, my question was, if you haven't not completed 3 projects, but you've been part of other projects, how does one go about trying to secure, that kind of credit line as well?
I would say reach out and talk to us about what your experience is. I think the key is that we need to know that you have been working as a professional contractor in the industry. Our intention is to fund people that are operating and have experience. So that's the intention of the requirements. Now, if you have a way to show that in a different manner, certainly we can have a conversation about that. We do set these guidelines, but we also recognize that guidelines can sometimes, not necessarily, or could prevent people who are great candidates from getting the line of credit. So we do like to talk to you if you feel like you're in a gray area, if you do have experience as a professional contractor and you can demonstrate that experience, then it's still worth a conversation with us.
Thank you, Jennifer. Looks like the next question is, can this money be used for post-construction cleaning in these areas?
I'm not 100% sure on the question. The idea of the line of credit is that it's tied to a specific contract for work. So you're doing something. If the post-construction cleaning is within the contract that you have for the job, then I would say yes. If it's outside of the official contract you have to do the work, then I would say no. We are tying everything to having a job that's been agreed upon, where there is a contract or an agreement in place that you are doing the work and what that work is that you're expected to complete.
Could I clarify that, if you can hear me?
Sure.
Okay, when I say post-construction cleaning, it's, from my experience in the business, I've been in the business like 19 years. They build it, it still has to be cleaned before it's turned back over to the owners. So you have all these here segments of communities in which where they're going to be doing a lot of construction work. So with that being said, they're going to have to sub this work out to someone to do the cleaning before they turn it over back to the owners. So that's how the post-construction cleaning comes into play. Because the contractor's not going to do the cleaning. You know, you still got windows, you got toilets, you got cabinets, you got floors. Everything has to be cleaned up after they build it to be turned back over to the owner. So that's how that comes into play.
Okay, I think I understand what you're saying. So I guess that the honest answer is it's not something that we've considered. It's not something that has been brought to our attention until you've brought it up here. So I think we'd have to think about that. I mean, it's not related, it sounds like, to the actual building or renovation of the structure. The program is really targeting the actual real estate structure in terms of the building, creating, renovating. But that is an interesting thought.
But it is, because someone still has to clean it before somebody can move into it.
Yeah. I hear you. We just haven't thought of it. We haven't thought of it.
Okay, I was just wondering.
I can't answer. I don't think I can answer that question articulately. We would have to discuss that and see, is that something? In terms of I don't know if, is that a common use of a line of credit, or would that be more of just working capital that you might need for something like that? Is it common to have a line of credit for that type of work?
That depends on how big the project is. I've been doing projects for almost 400 to almost 500 condos in the Strip District. Yeah. So that price elevates to maybe $300,000 easy, with labor, with tools, equipment, and everything like that. Just trying to get the project done.
Yeah. I mean, I would be inclined to consider it. I think it's interesting. Again, it would have to be within an Avenue of Hope neighborhood to be eligible to begin the line of credit. You'd have to have work in one of those neighborhoods as a starting point. But yeah, I think it's something we could certainly consider. It is an interesting angle that I hadn't considered before.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Next question is, I am a notary and was told I should join this meeting. I want to know if this program can help, or if I can be of any help to this program as a notary loan signing agent.
So the line of credit, the contractor line of credit, would unlikely be related to your line of work. We have other programs, lots and lots of great small business loan programs that maybe could help you if you have a need for loan capital. In terms of, can your services be of use to the program? I am not sure. I have a way of that. Does anyone have anything on that?
Hi, this is Oster. Typically notary signing agents deal a lot with real estate transactions. On our end for the URA, we have internal staff that does that, but I think it's a good opportunity to network with developers and entrepreneurs within the space, to work with them, and they need someone on their end to sign those documents as well, to be the notary on their end. So I think there's an opportunity to network, but as far as with this program on the URAs, and we have staff that does that, but I think it brings up a good point that we have a really robust ecosystem of entrepreneurs that are involved in every step of the deal, and perhaps having opportunities for folks to meet and network with one another is something that we can explore, because in this chat alone, there's a lot of talent from beginning to end. So that's something that I think I can take back to my department, and we can talk offline to see how we can provide opportunities for networking. At a minimum, that's a low hanging fruit for us to try to coordinate and provide opportunities in that way, if that answers your question.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Esther. I think the last wasn't. I think the last was more of a comment for construction insurance. So if anyone was interested in taking a look at that, Ms. Diedrich posted a link. If there aren't any more questions, just wanted to reiterate that, we are definitely happy that everyone sort of showed up. We enjoyed speaking with you today about our program. And just to say that, I know this program has a lot of, contingencies and it's really specific, but we encourage you. We want to talk to all of you. Even if this might not necessarily be a fit for you, please take a look at our page to figure out, some of the, what may be, a better fit for you from our loan products. And if something is of interest, please reach out to Lynette Morris. Her information is on the contact sheet. We will send this to everyone at the conclusion as well, so you can have a copy of this presentation. And if you wanted to learn more information about the EPA dollars that are available, please reach out to Juan and to Doug for more information. But we definitely want to connect with you. So if there's something on your mind, you want to talk about business, anything that we can do to help for, business owners within the city of Pittsburgh who are looking to grow and expand, we definitely want to connect. So with that, I'll let my colleagues say some closing words. And thank you again, everyone, for joining us this evening.
Thank you.
Great. Thanks again, all. We really appreciate you coming out tonight. And as Pierce emphasized, we really want to, be connected to you all. And if the line of credit isn't right for you, perhaps one of our other loan programs is. So on the URA side, please reach out to Lynette. She is fantastic and our first point of contact across the board for all business inquiries. And then Juan also has his information here if you want to learn more about the EPA program. So thanks again. Please follow up with us and we'll be in touch and send around these slides as well. So thank you all.